Now I'm in the right one. There we go.
Fudge's sake, monkey. I keep forgetting to select the stupid predetermined thing I did. I know. I deserve the side eye on that one. I do.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Number 728, Houston with a Problem, and Problems Abound. I'll probably create my own here. I know a lot of you are going to be like really mad at me, but I sold all my GameStop today. After Ryan Cohen's after-hours tweet on Friday of Docow with zero context or words or anything else, peace. No explanation. A whole bunch of Nazis were in my replies, like hundreds of them, with 1488 accounts, Groiper accounts, etc. Being like, yeah, screw you, Jew, whatever. And I'm out. I'm done. I don't care about the riddles. I don't care about what can happen in decades or centuries. 5 years in, more than 10% of my life has been spent to lose 22% on GameStop. So I'm out. I'm done. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, well, I'm not going to watch anymore. You're fucking chill or whatever. And that's all right. I feel like a little bit of blackness has left my heart as a result. If Ryan Cohen makes you guys money, cool. If the BBYQ stock I can't do anything about makes me money, awesome. But I, in good conscience, cannot support that guy anymore. The Trumpism, the cruelty, the fact that he's just a pothead who appears to have no actual vision for the future and then regards us all with basically disdain. He talks about, I need to generate value for shareholders. The only people who realize any value so far are the day traders he wants to malign. The only time I've made any money off of this is when I day traded options. So yeah, GameStop can go on and go forward. It can do whatever. It does what it does. But if I feel slighted by the CEO, that's my thing. You guys might not feel that way. So yeah. I think Elon's a piece of shit. I'm not going to invest in his companies. So if I feel like the guy who's making the most off of this is a piece of garbage, why should I invest in him? I may make money off of it, cool, but what's that do for my soul? So I know it's hard to avoid in the finance world douchebags, but I can do my best to try and navigate that field in a way that I feel like I can sleep at night. So, yeah. So that's it. We can still talk GameStop. I'll still, I'll read up on things, but I'm not involved in it anymore. I may still when there's huge waves of volatility jump in on the options chain, but I'm not going to be an investor in this company unless I get basically a personal apology from the asshole. Hey, that was in bad taste. I know I desperately want to be, the next Warren Buffett, but Warren Buffett isn't going to post a photo of a concentration camp with zero context. That's not the type of person he is. The type of person he is in his last message to his investors ahead of Thanksgiving. I'll read that in a little while later. And so, I could probably see like the number of people watching drop significantly, but I'm not gonna make any money off this channel anyway. So a little bit, but it's minimum wage basically. So let's do the intro and shaboing. Okay, turn off the intro, ding dong. There we go. Jiga Shukla has put a super chat in here. Says, F him. No to fascists. The rest of us are still with you, homie. Well, thank you, Jigish. I get shit posting. I am a huge fan of shit posting. Shit posters are basically my favorite people on the entire internet. I get it. They're hilarious. But to shit post, you have to I guess shitpost successful, you have to have a measure of decorum. I don't know if that's really the word I want to use, but you shouldn't shitpost while punching down at people. Like all good satire, you punch up. You shouldn't shitpost in a way that gets all the Nazis all stoked and riled and give them boners and make them happy. Then you're not successfully shitposting. Then you're just being a Nazi boner giver. 5 years, we got a riddles. No forward statements. During investor meetings, no questions from investors. It's all calls, never an in-person meeting where someone can stand on a microphone and demand something of their CEO. You know, Ryan Cohen, when he becomes an investor in a company, right, he writes a big-ass letter to the board. And he's like, hey, answer my questions for me. I'm your investor. I demand it, right? But the moment anyone in the movement tries to get an answer from him about something, he gives you both barrels, man. So that's a little double standard, in my opinion. I think you can hold certain plays close to your chest while still giving forward statements, answering questions from your investors, and not playing a whole bunch of stupid riddles. I mean, heck, Elon can lie to his investors for decades, and he doesn't get in trouble with anyone. I mean, 2014 was the first time he said, next year there'll be robo-taxis. That's 11 years ago. And your car still isn't a robo-taxi. Man. So, anyway. My online entity, first. Like a crypto, first. Oh, no, second. Canadian, fourth, technically third. Turkish to you. Rosé Productions, fifth. Turkish again, HBW, happy birthday. Let's feed Monkey Butt some stinky stuff and use Fat Cat's tail as a microphone, singing jazz. Fat Cat, I think, is outside, which is okay with me, because he's probably soaking wet, and, you know, having to deal with a soaking wet cat is like having a cuddly sponge jump on your lap. So, like that? Is that what you like, Monkey? There you go. All right. Take it, Monkey. Oh, what on you? Oh, still chewing. That's rude of me, isn't it? Just stuff your face. Okay, one more. Yeah, that's the stuff. Chicken jerky. Heck yeah. Since before, what a start of the week. The fight goes on. It's a fight to the end. Survive this administration. Basically, I mean, I do have the emergency cash at the moment that if I need to bounce, I can hopefully bounce. It's basically enough to maybe live for a year somewhere else while I try to find another way to survive. But not the windfall I've been hoping for. And, you know. Kikadian, H-Town favorite Miami Cuban bakery. We don't really have any here. So I don't know. We have Paseos, which is a Cuban sandwich shop, which is really good, like dynamite. But I don't think we have any Miami Cuban bakeries. I could be wrong. I may probably do a Google search and find one somewhere. And ones in Miami. Ask Julio and Cali Bowl. Those guys, they will know. Julio took me to a delicious one when I got off my flight in 2023. But it was like midnight, and we went to a Cuban bakery / restaurant, and we got some really delicious stuff. I was kind of tired, so it's a little foggy, but I remember being really delicious, and all the Cuban ladies were absolutely rocking. So those are the two things I remember. So yeah, got any stuff there, Julio? Throw it at everybody. Yeah. Donna Bell, 4545. Always look forward to your show. You're calling Jimmy equals respect. Well, thank you. Cameron Mirza, 8263. Roaring Kitty got out. I also got out. Monkey treat, please. Good call, Houston. Well, we can do a nugget. One nugget, Monkey. I don't know if Roaring Kitty got out or not, but I don't think he's too pleased with the direction things have gone. I mean, I'm definitely of the opinion if you're going to dilute your stock to net cash, which I'm okay with GameStop netting $10 billion in a war chest. Awesome. But to do so specifically to hurt your investors at a time when volatility was rising and the stock price was going to go to kajillions is not only a giant fuck you, but a giant missed opportunity. Like that $10 billion he has right now could be $30 to $60 billion very easily, making them the most cash-rich company essentially on Earth at that point. You just dilute when the stock is a lot of money. It's that simple. You don't wait for it to be $35 and then dilute to make a couple $billion. You wait till it's $350. You make 10 times as much, right? You could have made $20 billion off that first dilution back in May 2024, and another $60 billion off of the dilution they did in June of 2024. So I don't know. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. Sturgisol says, ain't they ending shutdown? Possibly. So 8 Senate Democrats, basically Fetterman and a whole bunch of people who are never going to run for their seat again, voted to do the continuing resolution without any guarantees at all about extending subsidies for the ACA. Meaning Republicans are never going to pick it up. You guys are fucked. That's as simple as that. Your healthcare costs are going to double, triple, or worse. The care being offered to you is going to get worse. Your deductibles are going to get higher. You're screwed. I'm screwed. We're all screwed. My feeling is that they did so because all of a sudden their flights got canceled and they couldn't go on their vacations anymore. And that those 8 Senate Democrats should basically be run out of the party. Someone's this year primaried. If they are running for re-election, their vote should be held against them. It should be a walk of shame. They should have to be forced to wear it tattooed on their foreheads at this point. Conversely, now that continuing resolution goes to the House. The House has been in recess since the start of the shutdown because Speaker Johnson doesn't want to swear in any new members because the new member from Arizona will sign the petition to release the Epstein files, and he can't have that happen. So if they go back into session to vote on this continuing resolution, then the Epstein files get released. So perhaps this is the signal from party leaders that they're done with Trump. I don't know. Because he's all over those things. And so, like, what's going to happen if that's the case? I'm very curious. I'm very curious indeed. So, Belgian, well, you know I'm still watching you, don't you? You are. Lisa Saw. What happens if Genie moons? We still play options? I'll probably still tickle with options. Because that's day trading. And if he doesn't like me for holding, he doesn't like me for day trading, I may as well day trade because that's where I actually make any money. So, yeah, I'm probably still going to play options here and there. Turkish also, but I never get it. Democrats were fighting to provide medic aid to illegals, or did Republicans have some other motive? The thing is that the Dems were never fighting for Medicare or Medicaid to undocumented immigrants. That was just lies that were made by the Republicans to try and put the shutdown on them, rather than the party that's in charge. The party that's always shutting down the government when they have control of the government. That little asshole's at the window, isn't he? There he is. See him? Just up. I would lean long way. There he is. He's clawing at my screen like a little shitbird. Yeah. Well, you know what I'll do? I will play the Chalupa Batman song and go get him. All right. I hit the wrong intro. Ugh. Yeah. Open the door and he's like, no, I don't want to come inside.
Well, you're coming inside anyway. Now I'm gonna sit on you.
Yep, I totally hit the butterfly intro, not the Batman intro. They both start with B, and I can't read in public school. All right, well, that's how long it took to get the cat in here, huh? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Come on. Where are you going? Okay, yeah. Jigger Super Chats by VXX and sell covered calls. I mean, basically, yeah. Why not? Why not indeed? Just, go boomer. Okay. Fun State Productions. Question, being Native American, why are we the only group in the United States that needs separate ID to prove our bloodline, not Germans, Japanese, French, etc.? I think that has more to do with the tribes themselves, about benefits of being a tribe member, be my guess, right? Because if you're a member of a tribe and they have, a casino, they have something that pays out perhaps trust funds to kids, things like that, I would assume you'd want to prove that you're part of that group. And it's more for the tribe than it is for the federal government. I don't know. I'm not a tribe member, so I don't know. But I do have several friends who are members of the Squamish tribe, which is the reservation right next to me. And, they get stipends from the tribe just for being tribe members because of the casino and other investments they have. They own like a fishing fleet and gas stations, and they have like a whole endowment that they've built up. It took a long time for them to get to that point too. When they first built their casino, they hired some consultants who had experience with casinos. And it turns out the consultants were the mafia, and the mafia was basically by force keeping all the profits for a long time. And then one day, 300 men from the tribe showed up with shotguns to their headquarters and were like, "Get the fuck out!" And you know what they did? They got the fuck out. And guess who got to control all the profits from their very large casino? The tribe. And all of a sudden, the schools got renovated, sidewalks got installed, a museum got built, a new meeting center, they bought a conference center, they started investing in the gas stations and all sorts of wonderful things. So, so that's really a side story there. But that's why I think that they may have to have some sort of ID showing that they're a member of a tribe. And there's also like really sketchy stuff that happens within the tribes as well. When the Snoqualmie tribe got the land to build their giant casino, there was some infighting amongst the members of the tribal council, and basically one group had a very slim majority, and they basically ostracized and shunned and stripped membership of hundreds of people in the tribe who opposed the things that they were trying to do. And so these folks who are Snoqualmie natives no longer get access to the schools and the stipends and the endowment and any of the benefits of being a tribe member anymore. So it was really shady. It was really shady when that went on. I remember reading the articles thinking like, this is fucked up. I mean, when I was in high school, the Puyallup tribe, they're down by Tacoma. They had an average life expectancy of 48. Infant mortality was on par with third world countries. This is 25, 26 years ago. It was really, really bad. And this is a tribe basically in an urban environment. And poverty, drugs, alcohol, you name it. It was like a developing nation. Homelessness. And they finally got the investment together to build, I think it's Emerald Queen Casino is their casino, which became a giant, they've got a huge concert arena. They own the White River Amphitheater. And now there's enough stipend that gets handed out to their tribal members that when kids turn 18, I think they have a trust fund of like $500,000 or more by the time they graduate high school. So college is paid for all this stuff. And just in that 25 years, their life expectancy went from 48 to like 78, just because of that. And so, yeah, I guess you want to make sure that the people that your businesses and services are serving are members of your community, right? So that's my thought anyway. Belgium Well, by the way, check out Met My CEO did Google Kevin Ali. Let's see when he gets another high-paying job. Check out Met My CEO did Google Kevin Ali. Ow, cat, you were clawing me. Kevin Ali. Resign after probe. Organon CEO said Monday Kevin Ali will resign from his role after internal investigation into sales of its Nexplanon contraceptive. Oh. Let's see what this is all about. I don't think I read any news about this. Chrome. This is what, week and a half ago or so? Reuters said on Monday, CEO Kevin Ali will resign his role after internal investigation into sales of his Nexplanon contraceptive implant to wholesalers pointed to improper practices. Shares of the women's health-focused drug maker were down 23% pre-market trading. An audit committee found certain U.S. wholesalers were asked to purchase more Nexplanon than needed at the end of several quarters between 22 and 25. While the findings to date do not necessitate a restatement or revision to any previously issued financial statements, the company is taking remedial actions to improve its financial controls and address any material weaknesses. So it must have done kickbacks for those folks who bought more. Be my guess. That's the only way to convince them to do that, right? So, board chair will assume the responsibilities. Executive chair support more. So blah 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 blah. Interesting. Artemis should super chat. I've been doing GME for a while now. RC has proven time and time again he does not give a shit about us small investors. I'll always watch you because I love your brain, not your investments. Well, thank you, Artemis. We'll still talk investments and things like that. Still talk GME. He's just not gonna get my money. That's the line I drew in the sand there. I mean, it's a dude that 3 years ago was all pissed when the CEOs would talk politics. Well, I guess because he didn't like the CEOs that talk politics that went against what you liked, I guess. I don't know. Move your leg. I can't hold the mouse if your leg's there. Did that one. 64. Roaring Kitty with my signal to bail out. I've always seen this investment as a hero or zero, money long gone. Even if it exists in a brokerage account, hasn't held me back, nor do I depend on it. Doesn't exist. That's kind of how I was thinking of it too. I just put it there, set it, forget it. But just after Friday, I felt icky. I felt real icky. And then all the Nazis piled on, and I was like, you know what? I don't need this in my life. So I'll wash my hands of it. I believed in the cause. The cause just didn't believe in me. That's the way I guess I will phrase that. Lisa Saw, where would you like to deploy your GME cash, or just sit on it and go sale shopping when the SPY gets the rug pulled? Most of my GME stuff is, not most, like half of my GME stuff was in my 401k. And my 401k mostly has been used for Vanguard funds. Set it and forget it. Just put a couple $100 a month in there and just forget about it. Right now, I sold up most of that stuff back in January and February. I've just been sitting on cash, getting about 4.5% with the SPACs, whatever they call it in Fidelity. And in Vanguard. What do I remember Vanguard's is called? So it might just sit there. If something tickles my fancy, if there's an IPO out there, I don't know, I may throw something at that. I may be an idiot and play options on something. I don't know. I usually do options with my non-retirement side, which a good chunk of my GME was in anyway. I don't know. Let my brain cool down and then I'll think about it. Oh, I also forgot to mention, today is day 3 of Shiny Shirt Week. As you can tell, the shirt, she is shiny. It's all glistening, right? Shinier than your coat, you freak. Brandon Wells, what's up this morning? What's a headache? Yeah. Copper sunscreen. No. Hopefully I'm interpreting this wrong. Houston, you can't be done. I'm done. Turkish Jimmy BBY Cash. Buy a farmland and try to house as many homeless dogs as possible.
That sounds good, right? You sneezing all over me? Is that what you're doing? You sneezy little monster?
That doesn't sound like a bad life. I was reading about this dude. I see his like videos every once in a while, and he's in Thailand. I think he's Irish, and he does like a dog rescue there and finds street dogs who are injured and stuff, and rehabs them, and then finds them homes. That seems like a pretty good life. I mean, everything you're doing, you're like super stoked every day. You feel good about yourself at the end of the day, and I don't mind when people devote themselves to something like that. So yeah, why not? Why not, Turkish? The blue chat from Belgium. Green chat, sorry. Hope RC has a plan for this year to boost the price permanent above 32. Why else give the warrants if it just dips later? Creation of bag holders? I mean, there are swaps due in week 3 or 4 of November. I'm sure the stock price will fly to 30-something dollars. It probably will. Probably just sold 2 weeks too early. But, you know, that's... I would rather feel good about myself than anything else. And I'm not making any money off of this, that's for sure. Yeah. Frozen Productions. Seems Epstein's biggest investments were at Valor Ventures. What do you know about Peter Thiel's involvement with both? I read some emails, I guess, between Thiel and Epstein. I can't remember which what the money was about. I'll have to look that up, but Valor Ventures, yeah. I know that they had ties together, and I know that Epstein didn't just traffic girls. That apparently he also trafficked boys for some people. Thought to be what's his name, the head of Victoria's Secret, was rumored that he liked the boys as well. The amount of money that appears to have been flowing through Epstein's accounts was in the billions, and the man technically wasn't a billionaire. Methinks that perhaps he was money laundering, he was working for outside intelligence agencies, he was blackmailing, he was getting compromat. I think there was more to it than just what, you know, he claimed. He managed an account here and there, whatever, but there's way too much money passing through and being wired back and forth for that to just be it. So yeah, Peter Thiel's a monster. All those PayPal mafia dudes, like if they blinked out of existence today, human suffering would be reduced by a significant amount. Peter Thiel right now is so obsessed with and paranoid that he's going to lose his fortune that he's now trying to convince everyone that the Antichrist is who wants to make billionaires poor or whatever. Like, it's just, why don't you just be a good person? Like, if you're a good person, no one gives a shit. If you do good things with your wealth, no one cares. If you're doing nothing but bad things with your wealth, then people are gonna be like, why does that guy get to have all that money? Why should we have to suffer because he's a megalomaniac weirdo? Low Bressel, Lex Westner, thank you, and 2 anti-spam, 3 PsyRC. So, the Excel broke again? You son of a... Alright, close the window. Close it. I need to add... You monster. You absolute monster. Open that up. What do you got for me? Open it up. Excel is not working again. Microsoft, you're using AI to program everything. It's all fucking garbage. Okay. I think, all right, 20 anti-spam. There we go. Ta-da! Right? Got Excel. There it is. Boom. Ta-da! Right there. Add 20 to that. Okay, pro spam people, you got some splaining to do. Kitty cat. Cat butt. All right. And I gotta turn this. It's too bright. I got a shiny shirt on. You can see how bright the shiny shirt is at the moment, and Now we need to go to this. Ah, woohoo! That's what Excel does to my shirt. Okay. We got, where am I? I did Frozen State Productions there. I did Kelly Reed. All right. Happy birthday, HW. Trump administration announces 50-year mortgages are coming soon. Buy houses at 30. Own it at 80. Plus Trump wants to give everyone $2,000. They don't just want 50-year mortgages. They want 15-year car loans. So, go out and get yourself a 2018 Honda CRV, and by the time the loan is ended, you paid $109,000 for it. 10-year car loans are too long. A car loan shouldn't be longer than the warranty on the car, right? Like, you buy a car, and it's like, we got a 5-year, 50,000-mile warranty. Cool. Now you're signing a 15-year loan for that car. No. You warranty that car through the entire life of the loan. That's it. Simple. When you're buying a car, you are losing value every day you own that car. You drive off the lot, there goes like 15% of the car's value right away. So you are putting money into a depreciating asset at just crazy rates. Like, all it will do is make it so people never buy a car again. They'll just lease. And then you're stuck with a whole bunch of former leases you're trying to sell in the market. And people are like, well, why would I buy that 3-year-old car when I can just lease one for less? Right, Kitty? Don't you think so? You look like you're thinking on something real hard right now. So it's silly. It's very, 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 very. Don't claw me. Just be a cat. Yeah. 50-year mortgage. They're like showing, if you buy a $900,000 house, you're going to save $600 a month on your mortgage. Okay, so some upper middle class person's mortgage will go from $5,000 a month to $4,400. Cool. Meanwhile, like, so what is it? Something like 4% of your payment, the first 15 years of that mortgage are going to be towards the principal. That is awful. That's not the solution to this. The solution to homes being unaffordable for people is to eliminate private businesses from owning these homes. You have what's it, BlackRock, which I remember which one it was, but they're in there and they're buying up millions of homes, right? And then they're hoarding a bunch of them, so the prices go up, or they're controlling the rent on a bunch of them, so the prices go up. Just make it illegal so that they can't own the homes. 4 homes, that's it. One person, entity, family, etc. 4 homes, that's all you get. That's all you'll ever get. No more than that. You can have one as a vacation home. You can have one as a live-in. You can rent 2 out and be their landlord, because people still need to have rentals, right? But that should be it. And we have millions and millions and millions of vacant homes in this country, but home prices are still insane. Right now, more people are trying to sell homes than buy homes, and home prices are still insane. So giving people a 50-year mortgage does not make the price go down the homes. It does not make them more affordable. It just makes the mortgage truly a death contract, because you will never have that home paid off. Ever. Ever. Silly. Absolutely silly. Spencer Berkshire also learned that Peter Thiel based much of his projects and life on the Lord of the Rings. What movie will you build your future around? It's always funny to me that, like, these dudes like Zuckerberg and Elon and Peter Thiel, they read all of these fantasy novels and sci-fi when they were kids and understood none of it. Like, what Peter Thiel got out of the Lord of the Rings is, I want to be Sauron. That's what he got out of Lord of the Rings. So yeah, he names his company's Palantir, and he does all this weird shit like that. Elon, I don't know if you saw Joyce Carol Oates' tweet yesterday being like, being the richest man in the world and having a shitty life with no friends or family that loves you and never reading books or enjoying culture or having a hobby seems really sad to me. And Elon has been like spinning. He's tweeted about what books he loves and movies he enjoys. all night long. Everything's from like 10 years ago. And all the authors he mentions, he like does not understand what the books were about. So yeah, if they do partake in such things, the point just goes like right over their head. You know. Anywho, what movie would you build your future around? Or book? What fantasy movie, Kitty, should I build around? What would be your, you know, you gonna bite on me? You gonna chew on my hand? Okay. You're slimy. Big Lebowski? My company would be called Walter, and and subsidiaries will be Donnie, and there'll be some product called it's called Katafato. Yeah. For the production, does anyone run the numbers on 50-year versus 30-year 15 calculator time? Oh, we can pull up a mortgage calculator. All right. Let's see here. Mortgagecalculator.org. Let's see what kind of mortgage calculator they got for us here. We got home value, $400,000. I think average home is what, $600,000 now in the U.S. So let's just pop that in there. Down payment, they're at 20%. Let's do percentage. So let's do 20%, right? So your loan amount is $480,000, 5.98%. Property tax $3,000 a year. Home insurance $1,500, and calculate. All right, here we go. So we got paying $39,000 a year. You're paying $1.168 million over those 30 years. So $600,000 house, you're paying almost 100% premium on it over those 30 years. What's the? Why aren't you showing monthly? Oh, there's $3,246. Okay, now let's do it for 50 years. Calculate. Your payment is $2,894, so saving a couple $100 a month. You're now paying $1.7 million, so an extra $600,000 on top of that. Still paying about $34,000 a year for that house, right? Okay, let's do 15 year. 15 year. Calculate. Okay, your payment is $4,420, so it's about $1,300 more a month. You're now paying $795,000, so you're paying a couple $100,000 over that premium, and you're paying about $53,000 a year for that mortgage. So, difference is about $1 million between a 15-year and a 50-year. $1 million. So, if you're gonna do that 50-year and you're gonna save $200, you better take that $200 and throw it into the S&P 500 or something over those 50 years, because at least you'll have like millions at the end of that. But oof, big oof. ECB 728, is RC morally corrupt? Can you explain his tweet? Does he want to starve retail because in fact he's doing it? I don't know. I personally think that RC is a pothead, in that a lot of times he isn't truly thinking clearly, but he thinks he is. You know, you've met those dudes. They just smoke a lot of doobies and they sit around and think about stuff, but never bother to like find out if they're right or not. They just like, whoa, man, like just imagine if everyone could climb inside my brain and see the connection between Doc Owl and what I'm thinking. Crazy, right? Click. So I think he's just like a lot of billionaires, and he's just doing too many drugs, and he's got too many yes men around him. Outside of that, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's thinking. He won't let anybody in to let him know what he's thinking. And when he does interviews, he does softball interviews where they don't ask him any pertinent questions, but anyways, that's the same questions over and over. So tell me about your thought process when you're founding Chewy. No one cares. Chewy's passe. Let's talk about now, right? Do you use Sixth Street and Hudson Bay Capital as proxies for a play for the BBBYQ shell? Ask them that question, right? You know, how are you going to grow your business? Right? Looks like collectibles are a large portion of your company now, but there's a giant collectible bubble happening. What are you going to do if the bubble pops when everything else pops? Ask them a pertinent question about something. I don't know. But yeah, retail for the most part is starving. There's plenty of you in here who've had medical problems, job problems, etc., and never got to realize any gain or growth or anything else out of the investment. And RC doesn't really seem to care. I mean, he wants to be the next Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway didn't get their start by waiting for the economy to collapse. They started building during the boom after World War II. So there's still plays to be made. Ding ding dong. Did I? I think you're trying to write. I've got a wicked headache. What happened while I was gone last week? RC tweeted out a picture of a concentration camp with no context whatsoever. So people are speculating. There's all these guys who are like, at Auschwitz, Jan Slivitz, I think that's his name. He welded the B backwards as a protest. He was prisoner number 741. No, he wasn't a prisoner. No, he wasn't prisoner 741. And that was Auschwitz as a picture of Dachau. Dachau had nothing to do with it. They were like, well, it's anniversary of Kristallnacht. Well, Dachau had nothing to do with Kristallnacht because Dachau was for political enemies and not for ethnic cleansing. Someone else found a tweet that was like, I can't remember who it was from. It was like, I never believed in concentration camps until I met BBBY investors or whatever. And like, that's it. And then, the gate from Dachau was stolen for 2 years. And I don't know what. I'm sick of the riddles, man. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of trying to find a little gleaning that never comes true. Look at the clock. The clock is at 10 and 2. Every fucking clock is at 10 and 2. Look at your watch. Your watch ads. It's the visually stimulating, pleasing to the eye way to have a watch. So every watch advertisement is at 10 and 2. All these guys are firmly believing that BBYQ is going to buy TikTok. No. It was not going to buy TikTok. TikTok was going to be like $100 billion. No. Nothing to do with it. I'm sick of the riddles. So, yeah. G10118, glad you're finally raising. RC is just a piece of shit who got lucky. Buyout after selling expired dog food and never turning a profit. He has nothing tangible to offer. Just kind of seems, I have nothing tangible at the moment from it. So I guess I have a couple of people watch the show I do, and I used to be able to raise a bunch of money doing charity, and I don't get to even do that anymore. ECB. How can the U.S. Supreme Court justify starving 42 million Americans? They cannot. They may, in their brains, try, but they can't do it. A whole bunch of payments went out to states, and then Trump is asking for those states back, and state governors are like, no. I think literally the governor of Michigan just wrote no. No, you can't have that. And the governor of Oregon stopped short of just saying, go fuck yourself, in her reply. Project Productions, I don't think RC thinks in terms of retail investors, as he seems to think he is the only one who can pull off this brilliant plan. I did that with girls, but the perfect moment always slipped by. Yeah. It's a... One of the things that bothers me is when a dude is like, work hard. I'm working hard. You better work hard. They're not doing shit, right? that at most they're delegating because they actually can't do the work. Like RC can't do any of the work that he wants to get done for any of his plays because he needs lawyers and people who've been to college to do those jobs. They need certifications, they need CPAs and licenses and bar license numbers and all sorts of things. And so if you smoke a bunch of doobies and you go, hey man, I want you to do this thing for me, you're not working, right? You're just thinking of stuff and then putting the work on somebody else. You're delegating. So at least be like, hey, I'm really good at delegating right now, and I got a whole bunch of dedicated people around me who are going to make my ideas come to fruition. But instead, he's like, I want hard workers. You're not willing to work hard, blah. I'm like, dude, you're in a cloud of pot smoke at this point. And nothing. There's been no value for shareholders. None. I invested $80K and I sold for $58. Like, come on, man. All right. King Ding Dong, longer loans mostly benefit banks, not us. Yep, Polestars here says, yo, BW Brand, can't believe the news I've been hearing about the Dems in the Senate. Chuck Schumer needs to go. Like, Chuck Schumer's like, I voted no. Chuck, we know you voted no because you think that inoculates you from the fact that you negotiated these 8 senators the ability to sell everybody out and vote yes. And then you can vote no and be like, it wasn't me, right? If you were an actual leader of the Senate, you would say, hey, anybody who's a member of my party who votes yes on this will not only kick you out of the party, but we'll ensure you never get a fucking dime again. You're done. That's how a leader of a party is supposed to work. You need to whip these people into shape. You need to point out to them what benefits the public and what doesn't. And if they're willing to sell out those folks, wash your hands of them. As you can see today, I have no problem washing my hands for somebody who I find morally repulsive. Wash your hands of them. You don't need to work with this devil you know. You can just get rid of all the devils. It's not difficult. Have a fucking backbone. Jeez, my knees. They rode this huge momentum after the off-year elections just a couple weeks ago, or just last week, and they just squandered it almost immediately. Just, Chuck Schumer, you're a moron. And the Baileys are disappointed in you. If you don't know what the Baileys are, it's the fake people that Chuck Schumer says he has conversations with to ground himself, but they never existed. Hot Pocket Rebel. If you could go back time 5 years knowing what you know now, would you invest in GME or BBBY? 9. Oh, taking all that money, I would have bought a quarter share of Berkshire Hathaway A, and I would be at 3 times the money today. Like, who's the next Berkshire? Well, there's already a Berkshire there. So if you're going to be the next Berkshire, you better out Berkshire the Berkshire rather than lose everybody 20% on their investment. Michael Harrow, 2409, Houston. What is the best way? Actually, if I go back in that time, I would have done way more options playing early and be out. That's the truth. I would have options played that first year rather than focusing on hodling. I would have hodling, whatever you want to call it. I would have option played January, February, March, June, November of 2021 and been a billionaire and be out. Enjoying reading books on beaches somewhere and skiing and walking my dog and living a really pleasant life while helping out friends and family and charities I care about. That's what I've done. Michael Harrow, Houston. What is the best way to make more money using the $2,000 stimulus? More BBBY warrants, more GME warrants, or just GME shares? Well, I'm not investing in the GME shares anymore or the GME warrants. I don't think the $2,000 is coming because we never made that much off of tariffs. That's about $600 billion plus dollars would have to go out. And we never made that much off the tariffs. And it looks like the Supreme Court is going to rule that tariffs are legal, which means all the money that went into the accounts from the tariffs have to go back out to the folks who paid those tariffs, which means all the money that's in there we're going to lose anyway. I don't remember in January 2008, George Bush sent $1,200, $2,000 tax credit to like everyone. Like, oh, we gotta keep this good thing going, and then the economy collapsed. So if you are desperate and you're trying to send this cash out to folks, it all the signaling is that the collapse is imminent at this point. So I guess if you're gonna get that money, if we do, probably puts on the SPY or something, or just the VIX, invest in the VIX, something like that. Polestar. So RC's been Nazi all along. Bet his dad's proud. What's that whole book series? Just another grift? I don't know, man. Like, I understand the paranoia involved if you are a practicing Jew with being scared that someone can rise up and wipe you out at any moment. And that fear lending itself to something like Zionism. The creation of Israel, it's outside of our hands. Like it is there, it exists. There's not much that we can do about the fact that there's a chunk of 8-9 million people of Jewish heritage living on that real estate. But the actions to preserve that state are horrifying to me. And those actions are, and these are the recent actions, not the stuff that happened before my lifetime. You know, basically the stuff that's happened since about the year 2000, when Ariel Sharon came into power, and it was the second Intifada happened, and then Netanyahu got back into power, and it's just been like horrific since then. And at this point, I don't think you can separate modern actions of the Likud party from the response of groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, when, you know, the Likud party helped fund the murder of the peaceful opposition groups inside of Palestinian areas. Like, they basically paid money to Hamas to murder Fatah and PLO and all those folks. Just kill them, just end them, so that there's no one to oppose the Hamas in places like Gaza. And then you now have your boogeyman. You're like, look, it's Hamas controls everything. Therefore, you know, there's an enemy at the gates, and we ought to be really worried about it. But then you kept funneling money to them so they could buy more and more weapons. Because if you funneled money to the other Palestinian organizations, they would have built schools and hospitals and industry and done things like that. So you got rid of those guys. So now you just keep feeding your boogeyman, and your boogeyman gives you the largest terrorist incident in your country's history, and then you can go full war crime on everybody as a result. Like, this is your blowback. You did this to yourself, man. So, you know, inside the U.S., you have a split of American Jews who are like, what's going on over there is horrible, and it's akin to what the fascists were doing inside of Nazi Germany, which is, you know, trying to do the wholesale murder of an entire ethnicity. And then you have folks like, well, you know, we're a threat. You know, we're being threatened right now. We have to do what we can to preserve ourselves. But it's like, you created the monster. You made the monster, and now you're going to kill a bunch of people who have nothing to do with that monster to protect yourself from the monster, which makes you the monster, in my opinion. So yeah, if you're aligning yourself with that monster at this point, I understand the fear base of it, but you're just making things worse, in my opinion. Like, a lot of people are having a hard time separating Israel from Judaism. And so they don't comprehend that just because someone's Jewish doesn't mean they're necessarily supporting the actions of Netanyahu. And so we're seeing sort of a rise in anti-Semitism because I think folks are being radicalized due to the actions of Netanyahu and Likud in in Israel. And also we're seeing a bunch of people mask off in that they now see like, oh, people are pissed at Netanyahu. Now I can like be my out and proud Nazi self. And the weirdest thing is that like those Likud guys and those Nazi guys are like really intertwined on this. And it's weird. It's weird, man. There'll never be an explanation to me that truly settles in my brain as like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like I kind of understand the very shallow reasoning behind what everyone's doing. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's just making everything worse in the long run. How about Rebel? I'm always regretting my investment decision. I know I could have actually made some returns if I had heard of Ryan Cohen's name in the first place. Or if I'd never heard of Ryan Cohen's name in the first place. Yeah. How about Rebel? Investing in GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond is absolutely the worst decision of my entire life. I wish I would have never heard of them in the first place. I do think that there is some sort of play with BBYQ. I think there's someone who wants the Knowles, wants to use it as a SPAC or a reverse merger of some kind. I just wish it happened, 2 years ago, rather than sitting around just twiddling thumbs, wasting away. So I'm going to try from this point forward to have a little more fun in my life if I can. Because if this payout's never happening, I'm going to be an old, crotchety, wrinkled person who physically can't have the fun anymore. So I need to get as much done as I can right now, before get put in the camps at this point. Okay. Be a brand. The longer you run a loan out, the more your interest compounds and the more you owe. Alpaca Rebel. Can't sell my Bed Bath & Beyond. That money's long gone. That's where I am. If it pays out, cool. If it doesn't, well. Bentley Computer 2324. Since I sold my GME in 2020 for $420.69, I bought a house and had 3 kids. I can't believe people are still holding. Yeah. I really wish I had gotten puts at that peak, wrote them down to February 2021, bought calls, rode those back up. I mean, let's calculator game it real quick here. Let's calculator game it. I got to pull out the calculator. I keep forgetting the calculator game isn't showing up on the Twitch side for some reason. Okay, calculator off. Scene. Turn off the old Chrome. Boink. We got a calculator. Shut up. Okay. Let's say you bought January 27th, the day before they shut off the buy button. You got some puts at like $300. $300 puts was strike price. Probably could have purchased them maybe before the trading went off later in the day on 28th. Could have bought them for, I don't know, $100. It's still been about $100 below where the stock was trading at. So yeah, let's say you get them for $1 each. So you got $2,000, right? You can buy 20 of these things. 20 of these things, and they're for the first, second week of February when the stock price went down to $38. So now you're going to make $27,000 off of these puts. Okay? So $27,000. Oops, that did not. My calculator hates me so much. All right, times 27,000. All right, so you got $540,000 just spending $2,000 on puts at $300. January 27th, 28th of 2021. And 2 weeks later, you're at $540,000. Okay, the stock price is now in the toilet. Implied volatility has collapsed. You're now at like February 15th or something. The stock's around $38, $40. People are still murmuring, is it over? Is it going to happen again? What's going on? I don't know. Ugh. Right? GameStop has not yet announced that they paid off all their debt. There's not been the boom yet happening in March of 2021. I think that first week of March is when I wrote my long DD that was basically like, this thing's going to spike again, and it can spike really hard. No one covered. No one closed. And that's when I went viral, and people started posting my face all over Reddit, and it was really weird, right? And then I got invited onto the Gist podcast, etc. And now I do this 5 days a week. So you take that $540,000 and you buy $100 calls, like way out of the money for March or April, right? So they're going to cost you like 10 cents. Because implied volatility's gone. This thing's now $60+ out of the money. Yeah, probably 10, 15 cents. So $15. So let's see how many. Let's see how many you can get, right? So you can get, say, $15, right? You now have 36,000 of these $100 calls. The stock price in March shot up to $348. So let's say you sell those suckers at $340. You're now $24,000 up on every single solitary one of those things. Times 24,000. You now have $864 million. You're done. You don't need to do anything ever again. You can have your house in Monte Carlo. You can have your house at Chamonix. You can have your house in Hawaii. You can have your house in, I don't know, where else you need to go. Capri. You have your yacht. You have your supermodel wife. Right? You're done. 2 trades. You could theoretically have made $864 million off $2,000. Who gives a shit? Turn off your TV. Go for a walk. Enjoy your life. And that's it. So, yeah. That's what I've done differently in 2021. I would just play those options and just fucked off. Kept it all to myself. Never told you guys a fucking thing and just been gone. That's what I would have done. That's what I should have done. But I didn't really start playing the options until too late, when the volatility had been settled down, because, you know, the DRS move and all that stuff just killed all the volatility. And we've been diluted, and here we are. So, yay. Hooray. Oh shoot, it's time for me to get going. We'll talk more tomorrow. Again, we'll still talk about GameStop. We'll still talk about what's going on. You guys ask questions. I'll answer the best I can. So, I just fundamentally don't like the guy. So here I am, not liking the guy. All right. Cool. Okay, let's get out of here. Where's my other intro? That one right there.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Houston, we have a problem.
All right. Oh, this is super chat just from Belgian Whale here. You know, I sent that super chat before I knew you sold, right? Understand your motive. Will continue to follow your brain anyway. Well, thank you, Belgian Whale. All right. I'll see you guys there all tomorrow. Have a great day.